Alright, let's talk about past. And what if I tell you that you can actually change your past? So when you'll first hear this video, this will sound like a paradoxical idea, something which cannot be done because past is something which has happened before. And how do you change that? But what if I tell you that you can actually change your past and you can get out of all the misery which you're feeling about your past? So just have an open mind and listen to this. So what is past in the present moment? So in the present moment where you're here right now, you're well alive, you're going on with your life, you're happy, what is past right now? So past right now is nothing but a story. It's just an interpretation of the things which has happened with us. That's all past is in this present moment right now. That's all it is. It's a story, it's an interpretation. And the thing about stories, the thing about interpretation is everyone has a different story about different things. So if a same situation has happened with you and you talk to multiple people who went through the same situation, everyone will have different interpretation of that story. Everyone will recall the story in a different way. Let's say you had a fight with someone, so you will have a different version of that story and your friend will have a different version of your story. You will feel like you are the good person and that your friend is the bad person. And if someone asks your friend about that incident, he will have a different version of that story. He will say he is the good guy and you are the bad guy. Alright, so what you need to realize is the situation, the event itself isn't good or bad. What makes it good or bad is our interpretation about it, our story about that situation and how we see that situation. And that's what happens when we go into our past and when we recall any incident which we felt really bad about or that hurted us. So in that situation, what we are doing is we are going into our past, we are bringing up a story. So we have this collection of different memories about different things which has happened to us, right? So we go into our past whenever we recall any bad incident that has happened to us. We go into our past, we recall that incident, we look at the interpretation, we look at the story we have about that incident, and we feel the same emotions which we felt at that time. Okay, so we recall that particular thing, we think about it, and again we put it back in our memory container. That's what we are doing. So if you want to change the past, and if past is just a story, just an interpretation, so is it possible that if we change our story about the past, we will no longer feel the pain, the trauma which we feel related to that event? That's possible, right? So I'll take my own example of my startup. So what happened was I had a really good startup and we had a falling out about in between the partners, and for the longest time what I did was I kept recalling that story and I kept telling myself I'm the good guy, those are the bad guys, and this thing has happened, and because of that situation I lost my startup. Because of that situation I was not able to make a lot of money. That was the story I was telling myself again and again and again, and I was feeling the same pain which I felt when that situation happened. So every time I was recalling that situation, I was recalling that memory, I was going through the same trauma which I went through at that time. I was feeling the same bad emotions, same disappointing emotions, same misery which I went through at that time. And then when I learned this concept that you can actually change your past by changing your story, then I started applying it. So here's what you can do. If there is any situation in your life where you feel like something bad has happened to you or something which traumatizes you from your past, you take that story, you take some time, you sit with yourself, you take that story out and you write down your story. Okay, write down in a way which you remember, right? So of course you will write it down in a traumatized way, in a bad way which makes you feel bad. But then what you do is below that story you rewrite your story. Okay, next in the next version of the story, you start writing about all the good things that has happened because of that event. Let me give you an example. So about my startup, so for like 6 months or 1 year, I was very miserable. I used to recall that incident again and again, and I used to feel miserable. I used to feel really bad. But then when I learned this concept of changing the past, every single day I used to write the initial version of the story which I felt bad about, and below that I used to write why this thing was a really good thing for me, why that thing being happened was actually the greatest thing that happened to me. And I started finding reasons for that, and I started writing that it's great that I had to shut down my startups, because after that I started learning digital marketing more seriously. After that I started learning about personal development seriously. After that I started learning about self growth mindset seriously, and now I am so much grown as a person. And if I was there if that thing has not happened, then I wouldn't have grown so much. I wouldn't have learned about digital marketing in so much detail. I wouldn't have learned about personal growth and mindset in so much detail. If this thing would not have happened, I would have stayed in my comfort zone. But because that thing happened with me, I had to move out of my comfort zone. I had to create my own products. I had to create my own courses. And because I created my own courses, because I created my own products, I got a lot of fan following. I learned digital marketing a lot. I mastered art of advertisement. I mastered Facebook ads. I learned about, and when I was going through that depressing situation, I started learning about mindset, about motivation, about taking responsibility of your life, and all those things have made me much better person now. They have improved me 1,000 times. And if that situation would not have happened, maybe I would not have achieved all these things. Maybe I would have achieved much smaller things because I was in my comfort zone. So actually that bad thing which happened to me actually proved to be a really good thing that happened to me. And that's how I rewrote my story. And it's not like you rewrite your story once and it will change everything for you. You have to rewrite your story again and again. So experts say that you need to do a particular thing for at least 21 days to make it a habit. So I wrote down that story for 21 days straight, and suddenly I realized now when I think about my past story, instead of feeling sad, I actually feel good. I actually feel happy, and I feel empowered that this is amazing that thing happened, and because of that I have grown so much. I'm in a much better position now, and suddenly my entire perspective about that thing has changed. So isn't it like changing your past? Because your past is nothing but a story. So take this challenge with me. If you have any situation in your life which has happened to you and it traumatized you or it hurted you badly, here's my challenge to you. Take a piece of paper, write down your story, your current story about that event, and below that write down all the good things that has happened because of that event. I'm sure there will be some things which would have happened which were good, and that happened because of that event. So initially you might feel like you don't have anything good happen because of that incident or story, but force yourself to write some good things, and I'm sure you'll find some things which were good that happened because of that story, that incident. So find those things and rewrite your story consciously. Okay, rewrite your story and take a challenge to do this for 21 days. Okay, I know it takes some effort, but trust me, if there is some event in your life which is bothering you, which is making you feel bad, and you're recalling that event again and again and feeling miserable, follow this exercise for 21 days, and within 21 days you will realize your perspective about that event change, right? You will see it changing from the inside, and after 21 days when you will recall that incident, you'll be surprised how good you feel about it, right? You'll be surprised, you'll feel in control, you'll feel empowered, and that's how you change your past. So I hope you love this video. This is something which has helped me a lot, and that's why I wanted to share with you. If you know someone who could benefit from this video, this technique, please share this video with them. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay awesome.